Hello, hope y'all are all doing excellent. It is November 8th, and today I'm back. So today we're going to be talking about potential Hurricane Nicole. It's currently a tropical storm. We're going to be looking into that and where we can expect impacts. Uh, we're also going to be looking at a potential blizzard in the northern plains. Either way, we're going to be seeing a lot of snow in areas of South Dakota, North Dakota, and Minnesota, and even other areas. And then we're also going to be looking at a severe weather threat that goes along with the same system, because we're also going to see a severe weather threat in the central area of the U.S. once again. A little like a different area though, generally. But yeah, I hope y'all are all doing well. Like I said before, it is Tuesday, uh, second day of the week. Well, third if you like count Sunday. But yes, this is our current radar across central Florida here. We're looking at a lot of showers, or not really a lot of showers, but a decent little bit of showers in areas near Orlando and down towards Lakeland. These are kind of pushing eastward into Florida. We play out the radar here. These are generally pushing southwest. We can see how Orlando's gotten some pretty good showers there. Also, a little bit breezy to go along with those as well. But yeah, so looking at Nicole. So right now, Tropical Storm Nicole, it's pretty much straight east of, central Florida there. We can see a very large tropical storm force wind area right there. I mean, just look at that wind field. Mainly on the northern and the eastern sides of it. We see those tropical storm force winds. It's expected to be a hurricane by tomorrow afternoon to make landfall overnight, tomorrow night into Thursday. In kind of south of southern Florida, I guess. And then it swings back almost into the Gulf and then curves into Georgia, but this part has been trending a lot further west. It curves now into like central Georgia, goes up in upstate South Carolina, and then generally goes into the Northeast. Which we're not going to really be talking about impacts in the Northeast today, so this video is not like very long, but we'll get into those probably on Thursday. So yeah, now looking at wind gusts. So this is just wind gusts off the HRRR. Now some of these can be overdone. This is the HRRR. It's not the best model for forecasting tropical systems. It did pretty well with Ian back in September, but it did overdo a lot of the wind gusts across central Florida. I had Orlando getting like 80 and they only got like 65, I'm pretty sure. But I mean, yeah, so by tomorrow, 6 p.m., you have some very gusty winds moving in, hurricane force gusts potentially, like along some areas of the eastern coast. More like definitely by like 12 a.m. Thursday morning, we'll be seeing some hurricane force gusts in some areas. Tropical storm force gusts inland into Orlando, Daytona Beach. Well, Daytona Beach is not inland, but still tropical storm force gusts because you're further away from the center. And then pretty much a lot of just gusts in the 50s all the way across Florida there, up into like Gainesville, and then into. So kind of the HRRR is pretty far west with this. It has the low. I mean, going into the Gulf by like a pretty good bit there. So it could it could strengthen like a little bit, but it'd be a very small amount. Now looking at like the wind for the into Georgia, real quick, just so we can see, it's going to be a pretty big wind field as well. This is 1 p.m. Generally looking at gusts in like the 30, 40 mile per hour range, but these could go up a little bit as this moves through Georgia and into South Carolina. Unless it just, I don't think it'll trend just to going into South Carolina now like Ian did. Ian was a little different. It just completely trended away from actually affecting Georgia at all. But I don't think this will do that because it has a much shorter period of time to do that. But we'll see. It'll be pretty interesting, but a very big wind field though. That's kind of the point I'm trying to make. We'll be seeing a very big wind field. Now rain-wise, so looking at total precip across Florida here from this. With the HRRRs, it's just by 1 p.m. Now, these northern areas here are not done with the rain, so these areas will be not completely done, but like Orlando, about 3 inches of rain. Uh, Looking at models like the GFS, which the new run of the GFS is just coming out actually. But looking at like the GFS, for example, I mean, we're looking at 3 inches for a lot of areas. Not as heavy, not as much heavy rain as we had with Ian, for example. We're not going to be looking at like a foot of rain. Uh, I mean, that's not out of the question, but I think the chance of it's a lot lower. We're really going to be looking at like a pretty large, like a large swath of just 1 to 2, 3, maybe 4 inches. And this does continue all the way up into the, like for the entire southeast here. Yeah, by Saturday we can see that like area just extends up into Georgia and South Carolina. The GFS, which is a little further, a little like less heavy, like a much larger swath of just 1 to 2 in those areas. So yeah, that's Nicole. Nicole will bring some pretty significant impacts to Florida regarding flooding. Rain will be an impact. It's not gonna, like I said, it's not gonna be as much of an impact as with Ian, but it'll be there, and the wind will also be an issue. So yeah, that is the tropics. Just a little quick look at Nicole. Now looking at another other stuff. So currently we have a low pressure, like in southern Wyoming there. For some reason, there's no. That's not a low. For some reason, there's just no line right there for Wyoming. That's weird. I don't know why it's like that. But yeah, so once this low that's currently in like California, bringing a lot of snow to the areas of California, Nevada. Once this ejects into the plains, we'll be looking at this like overnight Wednesday into Thursday morning. We're going to be seeing a lot of snow and wind. We can see a little bit of some mix as well, maybe some ice in central South Dakota there. But then this really just tightens up in Minnesota. Just clear, calm ahead right there. Really beautiful looking storm system. Beautiful, or not, I don't know why I said that. No, we have a lot of heavy snow across North Dakota, Minnesota, and in South Dakota. And also severe weather threat, which we'll get into in a little bit. But yeah, also wind will be a big threat. So I mean, we could be, or not, but it's not going to be a threat. I don't mean it like that. I mean, it can be, but it's not going to be like hurricane force winds. It's going to be blizzard, like blizzard. We could see some blizzard conditions. I don't know if we have any blizzard warnings out yet. No, just winter storm watches. But we'll see. I mean, definitely going to be a very windy system. So even if we don't verify blizzard, it'll still be a lot of wind and a lot of snow. And then like looking at our total snow across those areas, or we're looking at the HRRR first. So HRRR just really beginning like after midnight Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Got a lot of heavy snow in South Dakota, up into North Dakota, starting to come into Bismarck. By sunrise, this is 6 a.m., so a little bit before sunrise, but a lot of snow for most of North Dakota, other than the far southeast areas of North Dakota, maybe staying wintry mix or like freezing rain. Is that like freezing rain and pretty much just or just rain. Also the wind though. I mean, the wind is going to be really going here. We can see gusts approaching 50 in eastern North Dakota, widespread 30s to 40s. So some areas, most areas will not verify blizzard most likely, but some areas could. It may not be enough for a blizzard warning though. And then this moves east. That low slowly moves northeast, and we see that snow like making it in areas like Fargo and Grand Forks. HRRR doesn't go out far enough to really get the entire storm, but we already have like a lot of snow, a lot of snow in Bismarck. I mean, a good swath of more than 2 feet. A large area of more than a foot across eastern Montana, northern South Dakota, into northwest Minnesota, and that does expand because considering the system's not yet done. Looking at the GFS, because we got to go back so we can see what the GFS had here. The last run, yeah, I mean, a large area. I mean, Grand Forks gets 30. This is definitely overdone. I don't think we're gonna see this much snow. But European, a little bit more of like a viable solution here. I mean, that's about like a large swath of over a foot. I think some of the highest amounts we could see were like 2 feet, maybe a little higher. But yeah, so looking at the severe weather threat. So along the coast with Nicole, we do have a severe weather threat as well, mainly for probably tornadoes. We're not really going to look at that too much today, though. We have a slight risk from southeast Minnesota down into southeast Kansas on Thursday, though. And that is for what we're going to look at it right now. Just to like show you how why we have that severe weather threat. We're looking at temperatures. Look at how sharp that cold front is. That cold front is very, very sharp. I mean, that is a significant cold front there. So either way, we're going to be seeing like wind with that, as well as a large cool down. I mean, wind gusts with that front are breezy. I mean, like 50, like 40s mainly, maybe some 50s. Looking at the severe weather threat, though, which I don't think it doesn't look as good, to be honest, as it once did. But I mean, we're going to be looking at definitely a damaging wind threat. The tornado threat across most of these areas does look pretty low, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some action. Maybe we could see some like November tornadoes up in Minnesota. We'll have to see, but Minnesota is kind of an interesting area, like an interesting location along that triple point, because we do have, enough instability. Other areas further south, though, will see a tornado threat, like down into, the Kansas City area, in northwest Missouri here. We're looking at, okay, like decent shear, like an okay hodograph. That's like a 2 to 5% horror risk. I mean, nothing significant, but the potential is there. That's at 14Z too on the new HRRR. So looking at another model, look at the NAM3, just for fun here. Very similar solution by 18Z though. I mean, we don't really have time to get any heating, really. I mean, so I don't know. This seems a little. It definitely doesn't look as good as it once did. But yeah, I mean, the tornado threat will exist. I do think it'll be low. The thermodynamics aren't that great. And we also don't have a whole lot of instability. But we'll see. I think the tornado threat in wind will be the highest. I easily think the wind will be the highest, though. The wind will definitely be the biggest threat. Which the wind threat does look interesting. If we see everything set up right, we could potentially be looking at like a decent damaging wind event. So yeah, hopefully I'll have another video out about this before. But yeah, it's a little quick look at it. But yeah, thank you for watching. That's pretty much all I got for today. I don't want to make the video too long. But yeah, I hope you all have a good day tomorrow. I'll either be back tomorrow or Thursday. It just kind of depends what's going on with school. But yeah, goodbye.